What's up, fam? So, over the last month, one of the biggest stories in Black entertainment has been Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb. The the fallout they had on Corey Holcomb's 5150 podcast. And that's been going on. Both of them been feeling the wrath of it since then. I think Corey Holcomb might have been hurt more than Anton Daniels because he seemed like he's still just steadily going, for whatever that may mean to you, if anything. But one of the issues that came up during that podcast was Corey Holcomb talked about a young lady who was off to the side on the show. And it seems like Anton Daniels wanted her to be on the show. Of course, like, nah, because I don't know her. Don't know her like that. Just can't just bring anybody on the show. Now, for context, Anton and Corey don't see eye to eye on things, especially politically or dealing with the Black community. And so when Anton coming to Corey Holcomb's show, there was bound to be some volatility. And there was. There was a lot to the point where it looked like it was about to come to blows. But they didn't, saying thank the most high and cooler heads prevailed and it was over. But about this chick, a chick named Micca. Now, I'm sure y'all have seen her. Now, I'm gonna say this, more context. I have been watching Anton Daniels for a few years. I remember he was seen like he was more somber and mellow, calm type person, look down to earth to the point where he at now, to where a lot of his videos, and I watch a lot of videos because he gives like good context. And I did watch it too to try to, to see what I watched him and a few other people just to watch the channel to learn some things about how to run a channel, how a channel should look, stuff like that. But anyway, one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way about Brother Daniels is that a lot of times he's giving good context, good content, good advice in a lot of education in his videos. But then somehow it all comes back to him and his opulence that he's living. Like, he'll start talking about his name brand clothing, accessories, things that he buys, his cars, stuff like that. And not in a modest way. It's more like a bragging type thing. Like, this is what I got. You ain't got it. So it is what it is. And then a lot of times, it seems like some of his content, it seems like his arguments don't make sense. It seems like to me, like he's just trying to make content just to be a contrarian, just in order to get views and clicks. That's the way I see it. And then with everything that happened with Corey Holcomb and the stuff that's came out after that, I kind of believe that, like really, like truly believe it now. So anyway, he brought a young lady named Micca on the show. She had a belief that she was going to be on the show, and she ended up not being on the show because she did an interview where that she thought, well, she said that she was told that she was going to go on, that was going on the Corey Holcomb show. So that's why she went with old Anton. Now, we're not going to talk about everything else about the Anton being married and always around these, I guess, quote unquote, beautiful women. How he said that if he is interacting with a female or working with a female, he feel that, as he called it, the box, he should have access to the box at any time with any female that he's around. So he talks a game that doesn't make sense because, again, you brag about being married for over 20 years, but yet you talk about females that you should be able to knock down if you feel like it, which makes me think he have females sign NDAs and maybe his wife is with that lifestyle. I don't know, but there's a lot of confusion in it. But anyway, Micca did an interview with a young guy, what is called perspective. I guess his perspective. I guess it's the guy she used to work with. And he did a great, and I think it was a great interview. I'm going to put the link to the whole interview in this description so you can watch it in its entirety. He asked hard-nosed questions, and a lot of questions she couldn't answer, or she tried to flip the question so to fit her answer, which, like, you have to watch the whole thing to understand what I'm talking about. But there's one part in here. There's a small little part that I want to play. that I have a question. I have a question about a lot of it. I'm not going to, I doubt it. I don't know if I'll do a bunch of videos about this, but it's one thing that I had a question about with the answer that she gave when he asked, the host, what's his name, Orlando, when he asked her why, no, if she was going to continue to do business with old Anton. So let's listen to it. And then I'm going to give my take. And as always, I want you to give your take in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
It's only with anybody that's in the public. It's only preview to what you let them know. Now, a lot of them want to dig. A lot of them want to, find something salacious, this and that. That's fine because people like drama. But
well, do you think it was embarrassing to your husband?
To do what?
No, not to do anything. Do you think the
headline?
The memes?
No, what he's talking about, we're going to get to the question. We'll get to the question in a minute. But what he's talking about is all the things that she's going through, like Corey Holcomb calling her out, the picture that she took with Anton, everything that everybody's saying about her being a side chick and this and the third. How does her husband feel about it? Because the majority of the people didn't even know she was married. Like he was saying, she didn't carry herself like a married person. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was embarrassing to me because it wasn't true.
Yeah. Did he express to you how he felt?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it was embarrassing to me because it wasn't true.
What did he say?
About
how he felt.
He didn't like it, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And
is that the reason why you walked away from the show with Anton?
No.
What was that reason? We're going to close this out. What was that reason why you walked away?
No, the reason why I chose to walk away is one, it wasn't true, but I don't need.
What wasn't true? The side chick?
Yes.
Okay.
The headline wasn't true. It was, and Corey said this out of his own mouth. I was just trying to get at he called him the N-word.
Sure.
And I understood it. I was the person caught in between, the casualty, whatever. But when somebody of that caliber says something and the general public doesn't know much about you, they can create all types of narratives.
Yep.
And so because they don't know much about me and they know Anton, he can get up on a platform and say, well, this is what it is and so on and so on. When Anton spoke the next day, which was fine because it had just happened. But when he spoke the next day, he was, so hype and boisterous from, what was happening with him that he didn't properly address what had happened to me. And being that I wasn't on camera, I didn't have a voice. And so I depended on the person that I trust to be my voice.
Advocate, yep.
And also being that you are on a big platform, everybody, for the most part knows Anton. So when you go to, it's either you don't speak about it or you speak about it. And when he went to speak about it, he didn't advocate. He only still boistered towards whatever Corey had to say. And I get the boistering, but my avocation should have been first.
How did you inform him you were done with the show?
Well,
you call him or email or?
Well, again,
before she answered that, she felt that her advocacy should have been first above all. I guess over whatever she's trying to say, boisterous or whatever. Then there used to be a cookie or a cracker back in the day. But anyway, she wanted him to speak up for her first. She didn't mention his wife. She didn't mention his child. She didn't mention him. She said she should have been advocated for first. He should have came to her defense. Sounds like there is, if there's no physical relationship, sounds like that there was an emotional relationship, attachment that emotionally that she may have been, or well, they may have been closer, or she may have been closer than what she trying to make appear, or maybe she even believed. Because sometimes people don't understand emotional attachment. A lot of times people don't even realize it's there until it's like too late. But she wanted to be advocated for, and he didn't speak up for her, which, I mean, guess in the grand scheme of things, he could have mentioned her like, hey, no, this is not, she is not a side piece. She's a business partner. We went out there for a business meeting, business dealings, and things went left. Now, I wouldn't expect him to get up and fight for her, or whoop cord over her, or nothing like that, because that's not his place. I mean, has a man. Let her tell her she got a husband. Uh, that's for him to get out there and chin check Corey. You know what I'm saying? If at all. But in business, some things you got to be prepared for. Some things, you got to have tough skin for. So no, Anton probably shouldn't have said too much, but he should have said, hey, what he said was not true. But eventually, all he said, well, he did eventually call her a side piece, but he did call her his B, which is a way to say, like, your chick, your side chick, or whatever. And yeah, Anton should have came out and said something about that. At the minimum, that's what he should have said. But like I said, I got a question. I got an issue with that answer, because she was more upset with him not saying nothing, but didn't bring up the fact that he took her to LA, saying that she would be on the show, and Corey Holcomb had no idea she was coming. To me, I would think that would have been the most embarrassing part, because now you're looking like a fool. It's one thing to look like a fool online because people don't know you, because they can, you can turn the camera off and live your life in whatever little town you live in, and nobody else in America see you. But the people that's in the room with you, when you are embarrassed in front of them, that would hurt more. You know what I'm saying? That you done brought me out here, got me looking like a fool, thinking one thing is gonna happen, and these people don't even know I'm coming. Like, why am I here? What are you doing? Then that's where the whole rich men, businessmen bringing young women around for eye candy in order to seal a deal for themselves. Because really, him going to Corey Holcomb's show, I already knew, like I say, they don't see eye to eye on something. So you had a feeling that, well, you're not surprised that it got to the boiling point that it did. How was that going to help her? So it shows that Anton just wasn't thinking straight, that he wasn't thinking with this up here. He was thinking with the other one when it comes to her. Now, like I say, he like to brag about always having the baddest females around, that he don't have no guy friends, that he only, deal with women. And you can tell when he's in some interviews how his demeanor changed. Like, he can be talking and his voice will go from sound like Pee Wee Herman to when some woman is talking, or some woman come around, he's talking to a woman, now he's talking like Barry White. You see it. He's a flirtatious dude. I don't see how his old lady deal with it, especially in her face, unless, again, she's cool with it. You know what? Bring me up to a guy. What's his name? It's a guy on Instagram. Grub's Kitchen. I don't know. I forgot what his real name is. There's a guy on Instagram who do it. His name was, I guess his business is Grub's Kitchen. And this dude talks about everything from politics to black people to his relationship. And he'll say he's married. And he will say that him and his wife got to understand that the marriage is a business, and he be out there with other women. This guy, like I said, he is a man who comes straight out and says what his relationship is. Anton, on the other hand, is not that direct. He hems and haws and hints around stuff. And I think he does it for content because in this interview, she has said that Anton does a lot of things for content. So I believe he does a lot of stuff for content. Because like I said, a lot of times he says some stuff or argue over some stuff that makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. But I guess for content purposes, it is what it is. But to me, it's like he's not 100% real. And I think that's an issue. He brags about stuff that makes no sense. And to me, he's not 100% real because, hey, if y'all got an open relationship, why don't you just say it? Or if your wife is cool with you walking around and being with all these females, let's just say it. You know what I'm saying? But he seems like he's like one, to me, he's a guy that likes to look good for dudes. Try to impress men with what he can do. And like I said, when I was growing up, it was about, he's a little younger than me, so I don't know how they raised him up there in Detroit. But down here, our thing was looking good, trying to impress females. You know what I'm saying? Trying to maybe go brag to your homeboy about, hey, I got this number, got this girl, knock this girl down, whatever the case may be. But it was always about looking fly for the females, not looking fly and bragging and like you got things for your homeboys. The hell with that. They were just a couch to your wall or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but now your homeboy can dress a certain way. You be like, oh man, I got to dress better than him because I got to look better to the females than he does. Or I got to have my hair straight. You know what I'm saying? My nails done, whatever the case, car clean, not to impress or to make dudes jealous of you. At least that's the way I was raised. I mean, you had some dudes that was like hating and some dudes that was probably sassy and stuff. And you know what I'm saying? Really was trying to look good for the fellas, but nah, hey, but like I said, that's who he put me in the mind of is just somebody who's trying to impress dudes or trying to make dudes jealous of him because he is around a bunch of females. But one thing that we learned down here in the South, the poor dudes, the dudes with no money, be knocking down the same females that the dudes with money walk around with. The females that the rich men spend the money on just to be seen, the dudes with no money are the ones that's, you know what I'm saying, laying that rod to them. That's something we learned down here. So when you get the understanding, that's stuff that he's doing, trying to prove that he can be around a bunch of females, trying to look, probably, he did say been married since down in high school, so who knows, probably, anyway. That's all I got for this. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do it around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those four things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us here at this channel. So with that being said, I leave you in peace and love, and I'll see you on the other side.